Are you interested in having a set of tools that will improve the quality of your web development experience and increase the amount of work you get done? Check out the following product and stick around to discover a great deal for you and your business.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Permaslug episode. My name is Jonathan, and today I want to walk you through the Hoverify Chrome extension. Now, if you're somebody that already uses the Chrome Inspect tool a lot and you're really comfortable with it, this may not be an extension that you're interested in initially, but keep watching because there's a lot of really cool stuff in this particular extension. So the main point of this that caught my attention was that it allows you to inspect pretty much any element on any website and find the styling and the setup that they used. So the reason why my screen here looks so crazy is because I have this feature that displays all of the layouts and grids across the entire site so that you can get a sense for how sites are structured. So for more complicated sites, this is really cool, so you can get a sense for how you're gonna need to configure your own site. It lets you visualize things like padding and alignment and all that kind of stuff, which is really, really neat, especially for more complicated sites. Now, the other thing is that you can also switch this to be able to just look at individual elements. So as you hover over it, it shows you those grid lines so you can see how an individual element lines up. And then not only that, but you see this pop-up window with basically everything you could ever want to know about this element. So if I click it, it keeps this window focused for me here and I get my cursor back. And it's got a lot of amazing information here. So obviously it has the entire color palette, and if you click one, then it gives you the hex color or the RGB in your computer clipboard, so you can just take that straight over to whatever you're working in. It gives you the font here. This one is of course Open Sans, and if you look down on the lower right, it's actually trying to link me to Google Fonts, which is pretty awesome. It gives you, in this case, the type of field, all the different data attributes about it, and there's also all this stuff like placeholders. So if I wanted to, I could change this to "this is a test," and you can see the placeholder in the real form field up here is changing for me. As we scroll down a bit more, it's going to give you basically every single bit of CSS that's used to style this individual element. So if you're looking at a particular form or element of any kind and you want to know how it was styled, you can just use this tool and look at it in real time. So it gives you the border colors. Once again, all these colors are clickable, so you can click any of the colors and copy that to your clipboard. Of course, you can copy all this stuff straight out of your dialog window right here into whatever you're working in. Or if you're using something like Oxygen Builder, like I imagine many of you will be, you could basically just carry this stuff over to whatever elements you're working on. As you scroll down, it also gives you even more. It gives you all of the pseudo classes like focus and hover, placeholder, all of that different stuff, which is really, really useful because in Chrome Inspect, all of that is available, but you have to toggle the element on and off. So being able to see everything all in one continuous view like this is really awesome. It also even gives you the media query. So what happens at the lower breakpoints, that is included right here, which I actually struggle a lot of times to find the media queries in Chrome Inspect. So this is super awesome. Now the other thing is we also have this open in CodePen. So if I click on this, it's going to take that entire search form here, open it up in CodePen, and it brings in not only the HTML, but also the CSS of that element. Now obviously because there was a lot of stuff not included in that, we only brought over this search field, not everything is there. But if we come back over here, let's close out of this and let's see if we can take this entire section here. So I'm going to click this and then we'll do open in CodePen and see how far that gets us. So it doesn't bring in the image, but it gets us a heck of a lot closer, as you can see. So it's got a headline here, got this search field, and then the background is missing and the alignment is missing, but that's probably being carried over from a higher level element. But the point remains, you can see that it brings in these code pins that then you could save. So if you see an element that you want to save, you can totally do that. So another thing that's worth considering that is a pretty cool feature is by default, it's going to have everything in the CSS of an element that you select all kind of compiled into one long list of CSS. But obviously you can tell there's a ton of different classes and selectors going on here. So if you click on this little dialog right here, it changes the view to be all of the classes and all of the different selectors and what styling is applied to what selector, which is pretty cool. So you can see all the different states of an individual element all the way down. So this is a lot longer, but it does give you a much more clear sense of exactly how this is styled and what they're doing to manipulate different elements in terms of stacking classes in some case, but not others. So just as another example here, if we scroll down, something you might want to do is see what these elements do on hover. And let's say you're interested in like the box shadow on something like this. You have it right here. All you need to do is click to copy that color, and then you have the exact box shadow setup that they're using here, which is basically a 30% opacity black, and then of course those are the different intervals. Now of course I still have this grid lines feature on, which is why we see all those red lines, but I think that's really helpful. If you're interested in how a site is laid out, you can either look at an individual element or see how, everything on the page is structured, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously you can see all of the different fonts used on an element if you click it, but the other really cool thing, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off these here, is if I click this window, it's gonna give me the font used on every single selector on this entire page, which is amazing. Now, in this case, there's not a lot of variation. They use just a couple different fonts. But if you're looking for exactly what font was used on a page, you have that option here as well, which is pretty cool. Now, another thing is you also have the ability to edit different elements. So if I click on this edit pencil, I can click like this heading, and then I can just start typing like, let's buy a new house or something like that. And you can start editing all of the different content across the page. Next up, we have the color palette. So we just saw that we have all of the fonts available to us. This is every color used across this entire page. Once again, we just simply click to copy and it's on our clipboard for us. So it has everything across this entire page in one window here, which is pretty neat. Now, the other thing that we can do is if we click this little trash can icon, we can hide and remove different elements. So if we click on hide here, let's say we want this div to go away, now it's hidden. Alternatively, we can of course switch it to remove. So let's go up here and let's just say we want this, entire section to be deleted. Then that whole headline and our search field is gone. So this would be useful for you if you're trying to test different things, see how layouts work, and just what happens to your content when you remove different elements on the page. Next up in the inspect area, we have the search function. So you can search for an element by its ID, its class, or a tag. So if we just search like button, for instance, and we scroll down here, everything that's got the class of button in this particular case is gonna have that red border around it so you can see where that is on the page. So as you can see, the inspect tool has a lot of really great features to it, but this extension still has more. So you also have the color eyedropper. Of course, we already saw the color palette, but if you want to pick out a specific color on the page, all you need to do is click the little color picker. You get this nice preview so you can really hone in on different colors here. So if I want this light blue instead of the darker blue, I can just simply click. It gives me the RGB and the hex, and I can just click to copy both of those, which is pretty cool. So just another way for you to get the colors on a page, especially if you want something super specific, like let's say, the yellow color in that window. So next up on the Hoverify extension here, we have the assets feature. So this is going to allow you to download all of the images, SVGs, and videos across an entire page. You can either download them one by clicking on an individual element and choosing download, or you can click the save all and everything is packaged up for you in this assets folder down here. This is especially useful for me when I'm converting sites that I didn't build. The client came to me and they said, hey, I need you to migrate this site. We don't know the password, which happens from time to time. I can download all the assets from the front end and just transpose it right into the new site. We have a couple more cool things here. So we also have the responsive view function. So if you click this, it's going to give you a bunch of different device previews here, and you can see how your website is going to look in all of these different device previews. Pretty neat. You can also, of course, change it to landscape, and you can change your zoom levels here. So you can make the devices smaller or bigger if you wanted. And of course, you have this show frames toggle, which makes the outline of the device go away. So this is a really great way for you to see how your website looks on a bunch of different devices all at the same time, which is something not available in Chrome Inspect to my knowledge. Back here on our Zillow page, if we go back to Hoverify, then we have a couple more things. So built with, what it will do is package up a lot of really useful information from builtwith.com and display it in a really easy setup for you here. So you get all of the server information, and then also all of the different features that they use, tons of analytics and tracking on this website, as you can see, all the different widgets. And if you click it, it's going to take you to that page on Built With to give you more information about what particular element you're actually interested in. Last but not least, which is one of my favorite features, is the take screenshot function. So if you click on this, you have a few different options here. So full page, visible area, or all tabs. If we do full page, you can kind of watch what happens here. So it's going to scroll us down the page, and it looks like we have a little bit of a glitch here with the scrollable header, but it does output a full screenshot of the website for you. So of course that full page screenshot had a little bit of a glitch on that Zillow website. Let's try it here on IGN and see what happens. So we're going to go to take screenshot, capture full page. And this one also has a sticky header. So let's see if it's just one site or if it was something wrong with the extension. And it looks like this works just fine. So the full page screenshot, as you can see, takes us all the way down to the bottom, which is really powerful, especially for like portfolios on your website. If you do a site you're really proud of and you want to show it off, This is a great way to get a screenshot of it without having to take a bunch of them manually and try to stitch them all together. Once again, that is also available in Chrome. You can take full-size screenshots, but this is easy, and sometimes the Chrome full-size screenshot is not super reliable, but just another way for you to package all this stuff together. So long story short, I hope this is interesting for you. So let me know your thoughts on this extension. What do you think about it? For me, it's gonna basically eliminate 3 or 4 different extensions that I used. As you can see, I have a color dropper and a downloader up there in my extensions, and those are about to go away in place of this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.
If you are interested in acquiring this software, you can get a special deal just by clicking on the description link below. So, what are you waiting for? Increase your web development and be more productive using a single toolset with Hoverify. Try it today. Also, check out our playlist specific to our recommended industry-leading software providers by visiting the following videos on the right side of your screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get more interesting deals like this one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.